Now, just as a prelude, this is some 1x3 strapping. By the way, buddy. That's extremely light. A little bit more. Teensy bit more. So you can see, no problem. Now, since I'm working out through the tip, I'm going to be concentrating on speed rather than power, so my wrist position is going to be a bit different. I'm not going to try to over-rotate and torque into the wood. It's extremely pointless when I'm this far out, so it's mainly just speed. So stop fooling around. So you can see it's completely trivial. One thing I wanted to make a note was, see how important the precision of the cuts were? Well, I noticed when I was chopping, since I'm off to the side, I'd come in here, say, get that notch out of the way, like that. When I went to do my second cut, I was often hitting in front of it. And I figured out the reason why. Since I'm standing at an angle, but your brain subconsciously is relatively stunned and doesn't realize that, it was still thinking I was straight on. I mean, you don't do any of this hand-eye stuff consciously. It's not like as the blade is coming down, you're making a decision, should I move this way, should I move that way? It's all subconscious in your nervous system. And what I figured out was, because I'm at an angle, I'm always hitting this way. So what I got to do, when it's relatively easy, is I instinctively aim a bit further this way, about 1/4 of an inch, because I'm automatically auto-correcting this way, and then the cuts line up. Okay, since someone asked for a comparison, here's another piece, and again, this is Type 2 spruce. It's just regular contractor grade lumber, certified for structural bearing capacity. Get out of there. About 9. Maybe another cut here. And you can see that was a much cleaner cut, still about 9. So I think at best I could get this down to 8. Now the issue with the Bruks axe, because the head is so far in front of where you're hitting it to, you have very little ability to torque or put any wrist into the axe. And you can't really even bear down with your shoulder because you're bearing down at this point, which is too far behind the actual edge. So it's very difficult to press in with your hand and try to drive the edge in, because you'll see all you'll do basically is rotate down like this. So with an axe, you're concentrating on just getting the axe to rotate around and take advantage of the fact that the mass is so far in front of the handle, and you're taking advantage of that rotational energy rather than the just straightforward linear energy of the swing. So chopping with the axe is a bit different. And the nice thing about it is, if you have an axe and a large blade, you take the large blade, you do all your limbing, you do all your brush cutting, and then when you want to do some bucking, you can take the axe, and it works with your muscle groups a little bit differently. So normally if I'm doing a lot of work on the outside, I often take an axe and a long blade just for that reason. Now you can do the same thing with a long blade if it's properly built for it, and Keffeler's is, and I'll show that in a second. Let's just do one more cut, see if I can get a... What's going on there, buddy? Should have went deeper than that. There's a big knot on the other side. I can get you this time. Ah, 7. Boom. That's about 7, and I missed one of the hits, so I don't think I can get 6, but slightly under 7, I have no idea. Maybe 6.5. Now, the nice thing about Dan's blade is that I wanted the versatility to have this to be able to hit like an axe and be able to hit like a long blade. So, essentially, I had him thin out the tip even more so than the main body of the blade, which is by no means thick. So when I'm doing light brush cutting, I'm doing mainly snap or rotational cuts, snipping the tip around really, really fast and going into the wood. Then when I'm doing power chopping or bucking, I'll actually move back here, and I'm not snapping the knife around as fast, but I'm then leaning into it with my wrist, and even after the blade has gone into the wood, I'm now really pressing down on the follow through, pulling back with my pinky and pressing down with my hand like this to rotate my hand down to force the blade to go into the wood. At the same time, I'm pressing down with my shoulder and keeping my elbow constant again to push the blade into it in this sort of position right here. And that uses very different muscle groups than when I'm just snap cutting like that with the chop. Now you can see, you can still get decent power. That's an extremely light hit that I just snapped. That was even just a little, almost no elbow whatsoever. And again, this is on type 2 spruce, which is construction lumber, and that's right there. And I still almost went, there's about your halfway point. I'm only about a 1/4 inch away from that, and that's just a snap cut with the tip. So this blade absolutely eats true lumber. And again, this is still with the weak position and the handle. That's the problem. I'm actually hitting this piece of 6x6 out here, which is slowing me down significantly. Perfect cut otherwise, but I'm banging into this 6x6. Come on, buddy. Excellent accuracy is where I want it. Now, I think I need to put a little bit more effort on my relief cut. Now, of course, I could do a 3-hit by turning that over. You see, I'm down more than halfway. So if I wanted to take the easy way out, I should be able to come down at this line, right here. Like that. But we'll find that. Now, if I can get another cut here, I might get 2 more cuts in. That way. That's looking really good. And you can see the reason why my penetration was so high is that the wood started to split there and split there. So of course, as it split, this pushed out of the way and allowed the blade to go down much deeper. So I should be able to, I think, come back. Now the other thing is too, the closer I cut to this, the easier it will chip release. So practicality, I shouldn't cut, 45, any further back than the 45, because the last cut is going to continue on this angle, so it's alright if I V out. So I shouldn't go back any further than this. Now, I'm 100% positive if I hit this right, I'll get a cut, because I'm actually cut further down there. So all I got to do is hit this where I want it to. Should be game over. Bam! Here's my 3-hit cut. And you can actually see it was overkill on the 3-hit because it went all the way down there.